Here are my top 5 favorite terminal utilities that everyone should use. Hi, this is Ahmed Al-Balushi, and before we start, I would like to mention that I have made an article about my favorite terminal utilities. You can see here, it's mentioned clearly, and you can also copy and paste commands if you would like to. So without further ado, let's get started. My first favorite terminal utility is the terminal itself. And as you can see here, I'm running Alacrity. It doesn't show because I'm running a tiling window manager, and it's very fast. And to showcase how fast Alacrity is, let me run tree on my root folder and time it also. As you can see, it's very fast. If you do it on a normal terminal like console or GNOME terminal, it's not as fast as this one because it's hardware accelerated, meaning that it uses the GPU and CPU to their fullest. So that's why it's much faster, and it's also written in Rust. And you can see here how much time did the tree command take to execute, which is very fast compared to normal terminals. And before we move on to my second favorite terminal utility, let me show you the Alacrity config file that I've created. Sorry, I haven't made it, but I forked it from DistroTube. If you don't know, it's a big channel that covers Linux. He's a great guy and you should subscribe to him. I just took his config file and only changed one thing, the font family. I like JetBrains, so if you don't like it, you can change the font to any font you like. And if you're not clear what is the name of the font family, you can install this program, which is Font Manager. It's available in most Linux distributions, but I think on Arch it's available in the AUR. As you can see here, I have too many fonts. So if you can see here, this is JetBrains, and I think this is the best way to know the name of the font, because if you display it in the terminal, it's very convoluted and very complex. And here you can see just the name of the font, and this is how you can choose the font family. And my second favorite terminal utility is the shell itself, which is ZSH. If you don't know ZSH, it's a very good shell. Most distributions use bash out of the box. So if I can show you bash real quick, you can see here it doesn't have too much theming. I know it has theming, but it's very hard to install it on every distribution that you hop to or install. And ZSH is very fast and has a great community around it, and they have great themes for ZSH. And I think you can make ZSH your own by just configuring it a little bit. And if you want to install a great theme for ZSH, I'm using Power Level 10K, which Chris Titus made a video on it. I will link it also in the description. And if you want to install Power Level 10K, you can use this manual, meaning that you will download it and build it, clone the repository and build the package, it's not a big theme or a big package, so it will install very fast. Or you can install it if you're using Arch from the AUR. And you can see here's a screenshot on how to configure the Power Level 10K. And you can see here, this is a GIF or GIF on how to install or configure, the Power Level 10K. You can see you can make it your own by just answering a few questions, and that's it will be set up. And then after you're finished with the configuration, it will save it into your ZSHRC, the config file for ZSH. And if I can show you mine, this is all the Power Level 10K theming requirements or lines, And here are my settings from bash. I just copied and pasted them. And the best thing about ZSH is that you can copy and paste your settings from bash to ZSH. There is no difference in the syntax or anything. And after you have imported and saved all of the configuration for ZSH, if you upload it to any place like GitHub or Google Drive or any hosting platform. And the best thing about Power Level 10K is that when you install a new distribution or do a clean install and you import your ZSHRC, and when you run ZSH, it will import all of your settings from here and will install your theme by default, which takes I think 2 or 3 seconds or 5 seconds depending on your internet connection. And that's why ZSH is my favorite shell over bash and the fish shell. And my third favorite terminal utility is HTOP. If you don't know HTOP, it's the best, I think, processor manager for under Linux on the terminal, of course. And you can see these are my threads. I have 4 threads. I have an old CPU, and you can see everything about your processes, which one is hogging the resources. And if you want to kill a process, you can kill it by pressing on the F9. And here you can see these are all the options on how to use HTOP. And if you're unclear, you can press F1, and here you can see all the options in great detail. And that's how I manage my processes. It's very fast and it makes you look cool at the same time. And my fourth favorite terminal utility is VIFM, which is a file manager with Vim key bindings. And as you can see, this is VIFM. It will not look like this by default on the first install. You have to configure it, but I just used DistroTube's config file for VIFM, and I just wanted to showcase it because it became my favorite file manager on Linux. And since then, I think I didn't use the graphical file managers a lot lately, because it's very fast and you look cool also while you're running it. So let me showcase some of the features. And as you can see, it has two windows independent from each other. You can use any one of them, and it has Vim key bindings, like if you press J it will go down, K it will go up. And let me go to my license file, because my home directory is a Git repository for my .files. And if I press W on it, it will show the contents of the file. And if you press tab, it will go to the second window. As you can see here, I'm pressing tab. And as you can see, these are the folders, and the red ones are the executable files, and the unhighlighted ones are normal files or text files. And if you want to go inside the folder, you can press L to go inside and press H to go back, and that's VIFM. And my fifth favorite terminal utility that I use a lot is pushd, which is a great replacement for cd, because when you change directories in cd, it doesn't remember what are the previous entered directories. So if you want to go to a previously entered directory, like if you went from the downloads folder to the documents folder, it will also remember the downloads folder because it's the previously entered one. So you can switch from the document folder to the downloads folder easily, and I will show it now. Let's continue with our example. Let's go to the documents folder, downloads, if I can write it correctly. You can see that it says that we have went to the downloads folder. And let's say I want to switch to the documents folder. And as you can see, it's remembering that we have two entered directories, and we can switch back and forth between them. And if you want to see the directories that pushd remembers, just enter this command. And as you can see, it gave 0 to the documents folder because it's the last one entered, and 2 for the oldest one, which is the home directory. And let's say that you want to switch from the documents folder to the downloads folder. You just write pushd and then the plus sign, then the number of the directory. Let's say we want to go to the downloads, which is 1, so we write 1 and then enter. And as you can see that you can easily switch between directories very fast without entering the long path, which is sometimes very hard when you have so many things to do in the terminal. And before I let you go, I have 2 bonus terminal utilities. First of all, it's CMatrix, which is a great effect that will make you look cool around your friends. And the second command is NMS, which is short for no more secrets. And the best way to run it is to pipe something into it. And as you can see here, I'm piping my license file into NMS, and let me run it. And it will show the text like if it were encrypted, and if we press enter, it will look like if it's decoding the information, which is very cool if you want to show off and get with your friends. And these 2 terminal utilities are great to show off to your friends, so that's why I included them. I hope you found these terminal utilities useful. Tell me what are your favorite terminal utilities, and if you stayed to the end of the video, thank you. And as you can see, these are my social media accounts. I have Odyssey, as you can see, if you don't like YouTube. And if you like my channel and this content and want to support me, I have also a Patreon page. You can go there and support me. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.